With that being said, as much as we did talk about solutions to dealing with the Uranus, but there are also solutions to dealing with the Selena, right? And that's also trying to get the game as ahead as possible. But right off the bat, Sakai is making a very, very devious rotation, instantly taking that beetle away after the purple.
Yeah, and it looks like they haven't seen this just yet. Yum's taking a lot of damage, same as Runway.
Runaway, Revitalize, let's keep him alive for just a little bit, but Stormy, once the kill, couldn't find it, and Kesa on top of him, first blood for the jungler of Iran. They do lose Runaway eventually, but Kesa is the one that cashes out with more gold, and Sakai's can't really stick around for any longer, and that's the opening that we want. Very explosive from both sides.
Again, explosive coming in from both sides, and now Momo taking a bit of damage, but small lead for Malaysia because Sakai's was the one that has taken away the beetle, like you said, so just a small advantage. But I feel like as long as Iran as well as Malaysia, they don't extend anything further, it's basically even. Even if you look at the goal lead, there's basically nothing there just yet. The fact that Stormy was not able to go crazy, get a bunch of kills, that's already impressive coming in from Iran.
We even saw Enders for a moment got that lane advantage, right? Was able to really bring Momo down low, but he is the Uranus, so he's gonna heal back up, no problem. Runs the Brave Smite. So these chip damage are only going to stop him for so long. You need to call in a gank, and preferably when your Hayabusa is level 4, which he is right now, but unfortunately Turtle has spawned.
But Iran, they need to slow it down just a little bit. Okay, now Lucian does have level 4. He has the Yin Yang overturn, so now they can actually fight it out. But as I say that, Kesa, his HP has been dropped down quite a bit, so it looks like both teams, they're not going to be contesting the turtle just yet, making sure that they do their due diligence, get the buff, get your levels in, and then actually contest. Lucian, if he has a big Yin Yang overturn, Iran could actually win this turtle fight.
Because of Sakai's earlier pathing, that means Kesa has an XP advantage, right? Because he gets to get his purple buff, but Sakai is forced to stick around, though Kesa lost more than half his health. Mountain Shocker gets used. The Quad Shadow's also out for Kesa. Black Dragon form to the backline. They gotta make a choice. Two-man Petrify into your Yin Yang overturn. Iran takes out Sakai, and this should allow Kesa to get the turtle. Not a problem at all. Momo on the run, and they drop the carpet. Run away, make sure that his team gets out.
And this is what we say. This is why the draft coming in from Iran is very scary. And we talk about this before we even started the game. Decisiveness. How decisive can you be in the calls around the turtle, around the Lord? And Iran was decisive. They had the right heroes to actually go straight on to Yi Sun-shin. And Sky's paid for that.
Yeah.
He died, Malaysia lost the turtle, and now Iran has the advantage in terms of kills, the turtle, and gold.
And a lot of times, the game of Mobile Legends is really decided on the most incremental, the most minuscule of things. And we talk about the early rotation from Sakai, right? That didn't end up paying off, and sure, he got a kill, he stole a beetle away, but he fell behind in experience because he couldn't interact with his purple buff. Iran is now just shy of 1,000 go ahead. They use the turtle board, vision reveal. Enders is really absorbing a ton of pressure. He's forced Stormy and Sakai's here, and this is the third time they've done that visit. And Sakai's barely gets out, Runaway's carpet a bit late, and finally Malaysia gets something in return.
Yep, able to get Enders here. But so far, I gotta say, Runway on this high loss has been absorbing the pressure that Stormy is trying to instill on the team, almost forgetting how much punishment the Hylos can really take, making it so that Stormy is not able to move around the map as comfortably as he wants. Now, this is going to be the deciding factor here. The upcoming turtle, speaking of which, Enders gets ganked again.
Momo, his flicker is 10 seconds away, and Enders gladly takes the fight. Black Dragon Form was used very, very early, so he's not going to have that for the next turtle fight, which is up in 20 seconds, and that's going to put Malaysia in a slightly more comfortable position.
Yeah. The only question is, what are you going to go for? Malaysia, do you actually want to fight, as in like get the kills, or do you want to contest for that turtle? Because I kind of feel like the threat, in case Iran is able to extend the fight, Lolio is fighting his Fullet.
Great taunt from Yums, and Fullet will have to flicker out of that. Darkling also used by Loliel. I feel like that's probably a net positive for Fullet, right? You get two members of Team Malaysia on you, and at the cost of your flickers, not too big of a deal, but since Loliel had to use the Darkened form, so he's not going to have that burst damage to solo kill you afterwards. As Turtle spawns, Sakai works on the case.
Yeah, looks like both gold laners will not be rotating towards the turtle. Stormy does have that the talisman now. Looking at Turtle, below half HP. Kesa Runaway is there. And right now he uses the Quad Shadow. Sakai gets it!
The taunt also helps Sakai out for the objective. Runaway would just have to use the carpet to get out of that. The glorious pathway, not that glorious in that situation. Again, we did talk about Ender's not having the Black Dragon form, so it's pretty hard to interact with Malaysia in that situation. Iran, though, not taking any losses, and I think that's good enough, right? You know when to really fall back and not give Malaysia more than they have gotten. And that's translation to the bottom lane, and let's see what Iran wants to do about this.
That is very important in competition, not to get too excited where you start making mistakes. And now, speaking of which, this is very even for both teams here, Husky. Both Malaysia and Iran having 2 kills each when it comes to the goal difference, only around 400, 500, so not that big just yet. Stormy gets it.
Oh, and just great juggling. Kesa finds a solo kill on the Stormy. That's a second death on the Selena. And one of the cons about this hero, for all the pros that she provides, is that she's pretty slow on the income, right? Not the best at clearing waves, not the best at earning gold. If she falls behind too much, she becomes a secondary support for the team. And Kesa getting his second kill, that's great for Hayabusa.
Yeah, Iran right now, what they really want to do is to secure, I mean, it sounds weird to say, but they want to secure the outside turrets as fast as they can. Like you said, Stormy on the Selena doesn't clear minions all that fast. So if they're able to get that kind of momentum, getting especially the mid turret, allowing you to enter the jungle, Malaysia's going to suffer a lot with this kind of drive. This is not the kind of drive that you can comfortably come back on.
It's very mechanically intensive, right? It asks a lot from you, from the players individually, though Malaysia did get the bottom tier 1. I was worried that they're going to miss that time because Flicker just came back up. Either way, 1.5k lead from Team Malaysia, even though it's just a 1 kill difference, but we are looking at almost the same objective, same turtle. What Malaysia has is just, in terms of getting more objectives, run away, bursted down by Sakai's. He was going to eat up damage, and overturn comes through. Yums gets out with the AOG. Malaysia looks to disengage. Black Dragon form from Ender's Kesa from the back. Loli Yao flickers away, but not enough to stay alive. And Fulim now gets to do a bit of damage. Sakai's though cuts right through them, and Momo shows up. Sakai's, can he win this against Fulim? Of course he can with the help of Momo. 4 down on Iran, and Enders is the only one left standing, and he is forced to run.
At least we can say that both teams are not shy from a fight. And now Stormy wants to go in. Ender's able to get some HP from the shot residue. And now Malaysia having 2,000 gold advantage, able to turn things around. And I feel like one of the factors is Enders was not able to fully utilize the Black Dragon form by getting as much people as he wanted with the Furious Dive, as well as he went in with half HP. So I feel like it could have been a lot better coming in from Iran. They forced it out a little bit, but you can see it could definitely have worked out in their favor.
And Enders continues to receive pressure from Team Malaysia. They really want that top tier 1 and eventually will get it. And early on, I did say it comes down to the most minute of details. Fulip didn't have Zaman Force in that fight because he used it earlier on when Yunus was putting pressure as they were taking that bottom tier 1. Had he had the Zaman Force, that would have been a win. But maybe Stormy would be the exchange. Just have to flicker though. So Stormy gets out. 3.5k lead for Team Malaysia. And the pressure is now on. Mountain Shocker gets used. Midwave gets cleared up. But the jungle taken over by Malaysia.
At around 8 minutes here, it's really all about resource management because you want to make sure that you get all turtles. And oh, looks like AOG doesn't hit anyone.
Runaway will forced to hold the front. Abyssal Arrow connects onto Enders. Not a problem there. The damage dealers from Malaysia aren't really in position. But Momo now has the liberty to basically frontline this forever. Black Dragon form gets used. There is the Petrify though. They get the control. Loliel disappears. Team Malaysia now on the run. Momo is going to be that distraction. With Yums holding the front, it shouldn't be hard for Malaysia to back off. But it's definitely a hefty price to pay.
Yep, Loliel got caught in a trap where Iran was waiting for anyone to go in. And then again, this is why it's nice to have an on-click stun, where if the Hylo sees you, he's just gonna stun you up. And then as a mage, you don't have a lot of HP, right? You don't need everything from Iran to take it down. But the thing is, at least Loliel is alive for the upcoming lore. This is, I would say, the first lore isn't super oppressive, but still, in a very high-stakes tournament like this is going to be very, very important. So both teams, they got to make sure that the battle spells is up, the ult is up. I would say especially for Iran, because between both teams, I feel like Iran is more ult-dependent compared to Team Malaysia.
I agree. So the one thing that they could bank on as well is there are no Purifies on Team Malaysia, so all of your crowd control is going to connect as long as you land them. Run away, though, can't run away from this one. Loliel finds his revenge. And Momo does what he does best on this Uranus, just hold back the front. Maybe Kesa can find a cheeky angle. He does see Loliel. Brilliant gonna destroy that completely, so no more shadow kill. And Malaysia has full control, but Yums once more. AOG superhero landing into a follow-up from Stormy. And they finally get the Furious Dive Petrify into the Black Dragon, but Enders can't really do too much with the Mountain Bolt crashing in. So guys, he's just gonna clean up shop and traceless away. Malaysia finds 3.
Iran, they have. Oh, look at that. Stormy goes in, trying to get a kill, but Philip is still alive. Right now, Iran, they were. Like, Runaway already died, and the fact that they tried to fight still was very, very dangerous, especially coming in from Kesa. He is one of the main damage dealers of the team. He has to choose his targets correctly. I feel like if he got onto Skies, it would have been worth it to expend your OG Shadow Kill. Speaking of which, Runaway, he might get caught again here, but able to get away with the use of the ult. So no fight is going to go through. Malaysia secures the Lord.
This is also one of the few, I would say, things with having a high loss, because once you start realizing that you are not as durable as you were in 3 minutes ago, that's where the problem starts, right? Because no one else from Iran can really take the punishment that Malaysia is dishing out. So if your high loss is getting melted like butter, then you have a secondary problem. Then maybe the plan B is just catch the course in the back line, but that is asking for a lot as well. Runaway is straight up gone as Loliel destroys his health bar. Kesa, if there's a magician that Iran needs, it's Kesa, but sadly, he only walks away with his purple.
Yeah, but I gotta say, just be happy with what you got. I would say they don't have the best wave play, or AOG goes in, hits onto no one. Do they actually want to go for this, Malaysia?
Wow, they actually get the Black Dragon form out. That is more than enough if you are Malaysia. You did say that Iran is a lot more out-dependent. Black Dragon form not being available for crucial fights and the Lord crashing in. This is bad news.
Yeah, but all the while, Kesa is waiting in the back. Stormy might know. Actually, Stormy should have vision here. They know, and now they're going for it.
Yeah. You don't need just the Abyssal Trap. You also have the Mountain Shocker, and this is going from bad to worse. Maybe Philip will be able to change it around, but Yums is just punching him in the face. Lord still pretty much healthy. 4v5, Malaysia have the advantage. The arrow connects onto Philip, and that's the important member of Iran that needs to go down. Philip somehow stays alive, but not Lucian though. This one does connect. Enders trying to bleed out Stormy, but one is all they get. Malaysia right on the crystal, and game 1 for Malaysia.
Congratulations to Malaysia winning the first game, going up against Iran. But we do have to say that the game, especially in the early as well as the mid, were quite fast enough there where Iran had potential. They had many moments where they could turn things around against Malaysia. It's just that they gotta be careful, understanding that their draft really needs proper timing with all the ults. So if they're easily baited out, you're kind of losing majority of your win condition.
Yeah, and you did say that you can't really get too excited, especially in high-stake games. So easier said than done, but once you get too excited and when you start making these mistakes, it does kind of compound itself, right? And most importantly is how we see in the later stages of the game when Iran started falling further and further behind. Any slight movement from Team Malaysia forces out an ultimate, forces out a massive response, maybe an overreaction, as some might say, and that's where they might have to kind of dig deeper into, right? What can we do if we are 10 minutes into the game and we are behind? We need to be a bit more disciplined in our ability usage, especially when we need them to win fights.
Something that I can say is that for Iran, they really don't have to worry that much, because most of the problems that they did in the game before is easily fixable, right? Whereas like, okay, you should not have ulted in this situation, you weren't in trouble, you couldn't get a kill, etc., etc. So it's just like, okay, learn your mistakes in game number 1, come back into game number 2 with a fresher mindset, and then try to win against Malaysia, because based on game number 1, their chances is there, right? I remember the mistakes. Hayabusa tried to kill off the Lunox earlier on, where the Lunox has an iframe to cancel out your OG Shadow kill. Maybe a different target would be better, or just wait for your team. And we talked a lot about the Yuzong, right? He was not in danger. He should not be using the Black Dragon form.
And I would say, despite how much attention that he has commanded from Team Malaysia, we keep seeing those repeated visitations to the top, to the XP lane. He held it pretty well, right? Like, all things considered, this Yuzong, despite all of the punishment that Malaysia is trying to throw at him, Enders held his ground. So I agree with you. I think a lot of the small whoopsies we saw from Iran are just minute things that can be easily fine-tuned going into game number 2. Let's take a look at the post-match stats though, because this really has gotten me very excited for what this series has entailed. Maybe Iran can take that game too if they just polish a little bit on what went wrong.
Yeah, 30-minute game, and I kind of feel like this is what we mentioned during the draft, where I want to see what their answer is going to be for Uranus, because we already saw the Uranus, and they need a different damage profile, more like a DPS to deal with this Uranus, and they pick up the Kagura, which I feel like is fine, but specifically to deal with the Uranus, which, as we saw, was quite a big problem for Iran. Maybe a different pick, something, but at that point, like, what else is there? Because even the Kimi, I kind of feel like
There's
could,
like,
but yeah.
there's always like what do you call it? There's always like Yeve.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it's another option, but then you sort of run the risk of getting dove by 4 people from
Exactly,
Malaysia.
yeah.
I think the Kagura was not exactly. It's not exactly the worst choice, but it's a very niche pick,
Yeah.
right? You are leaving the Uranus to the Hayabusa and the Harith, and at one point, the goal is just we're going to ignore Momo,
Yep.
we take care of his team, and then we come back to Momo. Unfortunately, that never really happened because Malaysia started getting ahead, and then Momo is just standing in front of Iran every single fight.
Yeah, what we can say is that Iran, their laning phase is actually quite good. Philip didn't really lose out in the gold lane.
No.
Same can be said with Enders. It's just that they gotta lock in whenever you're fighting for those neutrals. Like the first turtle was great,
That was great, yeah.
right? But then afterwards, they couldn't get back their momentum. And I feel like they just have to understand what their win con is and protect that win con. Don't let Malaysia disrupt it, and then they should be fine in game number 2.
I think if you want a point of reference, right, as we go through the Hall of Famers, we have Sakai as the Goat Hunter, Momo as the Goat,
GOAT.
total damage dealt, right? He's
Wow.
definitely the Goat tanker as well, Yums as the support. But I think if you want a reference point for Iran during this break before game 2, just look at the second turtle fight, right? The
Yeah.
main difference between turtle fight 1 and 2 is that they didn't have the abilities that they need for the second turtle fight, and they still committed. And even then, they didn't really take a big loss, right? It was like, okay, we lost the turtle, but we were able to get everyone out of the out of that fight. So something that they can use to build on. And hopefully, if they do decide to draft the same way as they did in game 1, we will see a bit more finesse.
Yeah, I feel like if there's any change, if Philip has more heroes in his hero pool, maybe pick up your mid laner early, right?
Yes.
But now we gotta look at the MVP for this one. The MVP is going over to Sakai, 6-1 and 7 KDA, the highest gold earned in the game, and still deadly with the Yushin despite, an iffy first turtle. But after
Yeah.
after that, it was all good.
I had a very, very cheeky rotation, right? Purple straight into the enemy Beetle. Try a contest for Little Wanderer. I think didn't get it. Walked away with 1 kill. Goes into the first turtle fight and completely forgot about the Black Dragon. Got
Yep.
petrified and taken down. But that was the only time that happened. And afterwards, he basically was carry and support all in one.
Yeah, and now we gotta look at the highlights here to really see like what really went good for both teams, Iran as well as Malaysia. And here we can see a very early skirmisher shows the strength of the mid trio of Iran, that they are tanky enough to deal with the Selena. So they didn't have any problem dealing with the early aggression. Same as this turtle fight here. And what a big difference when all your abilities are online, executable, and it hits the right targets. It's just that we only saw it once. If we saw it multiple times, it would be a much different game.
And you can definitely see this is not, Iran's first rodeo, right? Like, these players definitely have that synergy. We even see kind of the decisiveness from the first turtle point onwards, where they commit for a dive, and it's just, we do it, right? Yudong and Kagura, they both do it together. This is the fight where you sort of start to see things shift, the balance of the game in Malaysia's favor. There were definitely some key moments with Lolia with the great flicker to destroy the shadow kill, but from that point onwards, Team Malaysia started running away with the lead and really making Iran flinch every time they show up on the map.
Yeah, despite the mistakes coming in from Loliel, he was, I would say, the reason why Iran had a difficult time, because their front line keeps getting shredded so much, and Loliel is the main shredder for the team, where Momo does a lot of damage, but it's not a deathly damage, right? He's just stacking up because he's hitting the front line over and over and over again, but the finisher is going to be Sakai's as well as Loliel. So I feel like it was a good idea for the Hayabusa to deal with the Lunons, but again, the Lunox has ways to protect yourself. So again, just different decisions, and we could have, I don't know, this best of 3 might go all 3 if Iran is able to readjust.
If there's one thing that I think was a good note after game 1 is the mid trio from Iran did show some flair as well. Team Malaysia's mid trio definitely a cut above in game 1, but we saw some great moments, right?
Yep.
We kind of saw the ideation behind the movements and the draft and how they were able to execute the early phase. And then it comes the tough part, right? Once you get that lead, what do you do with it? How do you keep stepping on the gas? Something that is going to take a while to figure out, but we see the foundations there for Team Iran.
I feel like just another one that could really take their gameplay above and beyond if Philip is able to join the team fight just a little bit earlier, and again, choosing when to use the ult. Because I feel like if he saved his Zaman Force when it's confirmed that he can get a kill, I feel like it could have been much, much better. But now we're going into game number 2 here. Malaysia, that was not the cleanest of wins. What do you think that Malaysia really has to do to make sure that they are in a championship spot, that they can defend their title from 2024?
Ooh, well, that's a tough question after that game.
That's why I asked the questions.
I think it's just, being a bit more aware of what's happening around you, right? I think one thing that really caught my eye was essentially the Lo Liao getting caught by a Petrify and the first turtle fight. Those were 2 like very small but key moments where you sort of lose track of what your opponents have. In the grand scheme of things, it didn't really matter as much, but you can see that this is definitely not them fully awake, right? You kind of forgot that, okay, this Yuzong has a Petrify and I don't have Purify and all these kind of stuff. But again, it's a tough thing to do. Tracking enemy abilities, that is some advanced stuff.
Yeah, but again, this is a great way to open up WEC 25, the open division here for MLBB, where Iran going up against Malaysia. Malaysia is the defending champs. Even though, yes, it ended in 13 minutes, but in those 13 minutes, quite a lot of things happen in the game. So personally for me, for Malaysia, like I said, there's not too many issues there, but at the same time, I feel like they gotta be aware of the weaknesses of this strat, because Sakai is going in for that Beetle, him being level 4, the Hayabusa being level 5. I feel like even if you still secure the turtle, there's a very high likelihood that someone will die, and I kind of feel like you gotta clean that up. Like, dying in the first 5 to 6 minutes doesn't seem that big of a deal because you respond very fast, but I feel like for damage dealers, that's gonna cause a big gap.
I think thankfully it's flying clouds, right? So that there's like there's like a fail safe, sort of a fail safe. I do think that them making those kind of the early game moves that they did, I think is also sort of a limit test, right? They're trying to push the envelope. Like, we know these boys, they like to really push it, and once they realize that, okay, we can't really exploit that, then we fall back to the normal gameplay, which I think is completely fine. Though the game 1 draft also showed us something where having Hylos as your only tank is not enough at this point. Especially if you have seen the Shredder from the enemy side, that Lunox, because I think the Hylos came 4th and 5th.
Yes,
something that
after you see the Lunox 3.
Yes, so maybe that is also something that can be considered.
Yeah, but then comes to the question, what other heroes can he use? Because in those situations where you have a Shredder on the opposing side, you want something with more mobility, something like a catch hero, a Kalia, a Cho. We even saw in the women's match earlier that there was a Kaja as well. Not saying that Kaja is on the top of the standings of being picked as a catcher, but a hero like Cho would have helped Iran out quite a lot in the in that fight particularly.
It would have, but it also would have sort of changed the way that they approach the game, right? Which I think makes it harder to play. You don't have the enabler, sadly. Cho can't just walk up and be like, hey guys, I'm going to start a fight now. He has to be sneaky. So very minute details that can really tip the scales. Let's see how that draft that's going to be coming up in a bit for game 2. It's going to pan out. We've gotten a good taste of what Team Iran is bringing to the table in terms of meta, fast, aggressive, very individualistic, in terms of mechanics, and let's see if they can kind of fold it together slightly better.
Yep. And again, we would like to say welcome to everyone from all over the world watching WEC 25 by IESF here. And Iran, even though losing, I feel like they've really showed their stuff here. I just want to see a little bit more But now we got to look at the map selection. We had Flying Clouds, and now it's going to be Broken Walls. And I feel like Broken Walls opens up for more strats when it comes to invading inside of the jungle. So I'm wondering, like, I feel like this will be a better reason for Malaysia to ban out all the tanky junglers, so that potentially Humes and Stormy can make a play.
That's true. But it also, if we go down the assassin jungler route, they also kind of like this, right? Like Lancelot, Ishan Shin, Joy, you know, they were Flutter's news of Suyo maybe coming back thanks to the patch we had. Like Nolan was also sort of looking good, although that's kind of based on a very small sample size. And it was, well, I say very small sample size, it's just one guy that I saw playing, and it's one of our good friends realized, he said that Nolan is back and he has like a 22/5 KD in his game. But this is one game, can't convince me enough. Diggy ban from Malaysia, they definitely know something.
They definitely know something, because I don't see any reason for them to early ban a Diggy unless their first 3 picks are all CCs. I'm thinking picks like the Minotaur, Tigreal.
Okay, if the Tigreal comes in first 3 pick, I would tip my hat off to them.
It's a very hard meta for Tigreal.
I mean, it's just a show of confidence at that point, right? Like, well, how far are they willing to go? Maybe not.
Unless they know that there's a Diggy babysit meta in the gold lane, and Lolia was like, okay, I'm already having a hard time against Philip alone. Let's not give him help.
Yeah,
like maybe.
Need no
Like
protection
I enjoy the peace I get. Right? Remember, like, 4 or 5 years ago when that was a problem? Yeah. It might happen again. Please ban that out.
Oh, and then if all is correct, Malaysia is first pick here, and they themselves ban out the Boxia. So it looks like Boxia is not going to be the first pick here. Iran banning out the Fanny. And this situation, like you said, even the Lancelot does well in Broken Walls. Nerfed a bit, but I feel like it's not enough. And it doesn't solve the problem of what makes Lancelot so strong. So Iran, I kind of feel like they have to ban out the Lancelot. If not, might be a first pick from Malaysia.
I mean, we got like a 15-minute game in early on. I would say the nerf, at least he doesn't like 2-shot you. He needs like 3.5 shots.
3.5 shots, yeah.
Slightly harder, but doesn't take him out of the game completely. I kind of had a feeling that it would be a YSS overlay for Malaysia if they want to, right? Because I don't see what's stopping them. Or if they want to go the more traditional route, player is always there. So it hasn't really been the first choice for our boy Yums. You know, Gatot is the more safer, more generic option now.
Yeah, and now the Uranus gets banned as well, making sure that Iran doesn't get it. And a hero that has been adjusted, Hilda as well, in Broken Walls, does quite well and quite flexible as a first pick, able to put in Rome or in the EXP. It's just the Diggy is that makes me think, what is going to be the first pick here?
Yeah, or is a big brain move, right?
Yeah.
Or it's nothing. It's just a feint. You confuse everyone else.
You make your own thing like they're gonna go for 5 crowd control, and all of a sudden there's none.
You make everyone else overthink it when the basis behind it is just. It's psychological warfare.
I mean, hey, it's affecting us.
It is affecting us.
We're overthinking it, ladies and gentlemen. Don't overthink. It's causing a lot of stress, and stress is bad for your health.
He's gonna first pick Harith.
First pick Harith.
Oliel says, "Give me Harith."
All right. Well, they're taking their time here, right? They're taking their time. Hilda is up. Looks like they're picking up the Hayabusa. So, are we just gonna do a switcheroo here? Where Iran's like, okay, now we pick up the Gatot and Yi and Shin.
I don't see why not.
Hey, why not?
Why not?
Shout outs to coach, why not?
There has been some cases, I think, where you get like the same draft for 2 games in a row, but it can play out completely different. Gatot YSS is good, but if in the event that maybe Gatot is not the flavor that Iran is looking for, the Grok is open.
Welcome to Grok's
that hero was banned out in
Castle,
game 1, and now
friend.
Iran has a chance to show it.
Yep. And like you said, the Grok has been picked up, and they're picking up Whoa. So this is clearly a comfort here. Iran looks like they're a team that's full of dive. And that makes me like want Iran to early pick their mid, or maybe just even early pick a Lunox, because that was kind of a problem for them earlier.
Yeah, you pick Lunox, you can deal with the Hayabusa, you can shred tanks, skill easily, skill easier into the late game. The only caveat is that you are made of glass, right? Like
Exactly, yeah.
They shatter your health bar pretty easily. Though I would say we did talk about high-lows being the enabler for runaway in game 1, but the Grok is also an equally strong, if not stronger enabler, because you get to alter how you fight. And on broken walls, and you creating walls, that sounds like the recipe that Iran needs to fine-tune that already aggressive gameplay.
Yeah, it looks like the Diggy is psychological. I'm not seeing anything, unless again, like there's a secret strat coming in from Iran. So far, a pretty strong opening coming in from Malaysia, having the Kimi as well as the Hilda and the Hayabusa shows that they do want to go for a more early game centric kind of draft. So the jungle pick for Iran is going to be very important here, because you got to deal with the Hilda as well as the Kimi. That's not going to be fun, especially if you pick up an assassin.
Do you Fredrin?
I would Fredrin.
Because it's open.
I would Fredrin.
I would Fredrin too.
Fredrin, and then there we go.
We're so good at this. We're so good at this.
So nice the meta hasn't changed that much, so we can still get it. So now what Iran needs to figure out is that one of the best heroes that they can pick up is the Eve, but most likely Eve is going to get banned by Malaysia, right?
Yep.
So what is going to be that mid pick? We saw the Kagura earlier. It's okay. It's nothing bad. But you need something with continuous damage. That's the thing here, because you have a lot of heroes that buy you a lot of time.
Yeah.
Right? The Kimi is not there. The Eve might get banned. What is going to be the next continuous damage hero? Do you go for something crazy like a Xavier? Do you go for something like a Sicilian, so that, hey, even come late game, they're going to be looking pretty good?
Odette is also one, but that's an acquired taste, right?
Yeah.
Like, not everyone plays Odette. It's such a niche thing. The Zusin ban now too. I was thinking of Zusin, but at the same time, I think for Iran, maybe Zusin won't be that high up on the list, because they do need damage.
Hey, Sky Piercer.
Sure, right?
We had a game with 4 Sky Piercers.
We had a game with 4 max stack Sky
Piercer, yeah.
Yeah, but they do need damage. I think Eve is the best choice. Farsa is second. Xavier, if you are really, really confident that you're going to be able to get like past 15 minutes. But if not, I think Eve is probably your best option. Though maybe, speaking of which, looking at what Iran has in their first 3 picks, I mean, the Diggy ban is helping them a lot more than they did in Malaysia, because they have a ton of crowd control that would definitely suffer a bit if there was a Diggy.
I wouldn't be too upset to see a Sicilian as well, because it has been buffed where you use less mana on your bad impact, so that you can actually get those stacks. Especially with this kind of front line, you should be able to get those stacks. Your worry though is again the Hayabusa, but that's kind of like all mages problem. Yeah. Unless you're like a Kadita, then you don't care that much.
Like the only way you can solve this problem for mages is just remove assassins, right? But that's just the dynamics of the game. Kadita, same problem. 1 instance of damage. Yeah. That was it.
So this should be an Eve ban here. If not, Iran should 100% pick it up.
Yeah, it's either Eve or Farsa, right? Like it's either or. Lunox is like your 3rd pick, your 3rd choice.
Among the planes
so they ban a Eve. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, but this does mean, what does Iran want to prioritize here? Because if we see, the Harif is still up, right? If that's their comfort, they can consider that, because the Kimi is already there. Your mid might be safe. But if not, I'm not too upset if they pick up something like a Granger.
Or you take the Lunox.
Or the Lunox, yes.
It's a flex. Deals well with Harif. Harif shows up. Stretch tank. So if they ran, if Malaysia runs a double fighter, eventually you're going to be able to shred them. You can protect yourself pretty easily as long as Brilliance is up. So I think that is, at least off the top of my head, the most direct approach to the draft.
There are a few options here, yeah.
Yeah. Pick the Lunox, and then you have options. You get to see what Malaysia picks for the last pick. You go for the Farsa first. It's not a problem there. It's just, you know, at this point, you're just nitpicking it, right? So Farsa is good.
Yeah, but this also shows that Iran is wanting to protect their gold laner and making sure that Philip has a good advantage. Because you see the Hayabusa, you're not happy to go up against that. And now the Cho as well as the Granger here. So the question is, which is EXP and which is going to be Rome?
It has to be a Momo Hilda, right?
It has to be, yes. But hey, things could change. Things could happen.
We have seen an example in our recent...
We've even seen well, I'm not saying the Cho will be going gold, but meaning like we've seen Cho gold, so there is that, you know.
We've seen Cho roam damage.
Cho roam damage, yes.
Shout out to Momo's teammate.
Yep.
In that, so I don't think Coach Ark is going to allow Yums to do that, but who is he to stop Yums in games, right? Once you get in.
What about just a Ruby, right? But then not enough continuous damage, but there's a lot of control. And maybe that's enough. Maybe that's
Magic is my
no, they go for the higher. It is going to be Fulip's, I would say, comfort. Now, I would say pressure is on Enders again. Because there's a lot of magic damage here without the Yuzong. So if the Yuzong is baited out of the Black Dragon form early, unable to contribute with the physical damage, I don't know. I kind of feel like Malaysia will be able to itemize against it, and then come late game, they have ways to deal with it.
Well, on the negative side is that he flinches easily, presses the Black Dragon form very, very fast.
Yep.
But the other way to look at it is that he has great reaction time. He reacts to situations on the drop of the dime. And that is probably what's going to help them win the crucial fights. We've seen him really absorb the pressure in game 1, but I think in this game 2, it's going to be slightly different, right? You're not worried about a Selena throwing arrows at you. You're not worried about Yi Xunshin riding his turtle boat in your face. Should have a slightly manageable early game until the turtle fight. And the rest, I think you can let itself play up. The Harif is great. I want to see how daring Fulip is. Are you going Flicker or are you going Purify?
Yep. And now, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to take my time to really simmer. It looks like we're jumping into the game. Game number 2, Malaysia going up against Iran. Malaysia is 1 point up, 1 more point to end the series. But Iran, they can continue this by getting a 1 win against Malaysia. Speaking of which, looks like Sakai's is going for the invade again.
Gonna try, but with the Kimi around, it's gonna be successful, right? They can't really do much as a draw. You need to bring Enders in. Ooh. If they got any closer, that could have been a kill angle. Small thing.
Guys didn't get it.
Yeah, I think he got it too, which is great. You are able to stop this pesky Kimi Cho combo, and again, I think Enders is gonna have a. Hold on a minute, he already used Petrify. Probably camped the bush at level 1 to pressure Momo. Maybe that's what he did in game 1-2 against the Uranus. So, small thing, 30 seconds until he comes back up.
Yeah, and now it's just the start of the game, but we already see a lot of interactions coming in from both teams. It looks like Malaysia, they are going to go for this strat where they try to get Sakai's ahead just a little bit. And now Runaway, looks like he has completed his boots. The Rapid Boots able to move around the map and having quite good sustain here. And now they want to go for Runaway.
Runaway is going to eat, and great flicker. Still, Sakai sticks onto him. The last take of the Shadow kill, first blood for Sakai.
I mean, here's the thing. It's either gonna be Runaway or Lucian. I kind of feel like in that situation, Runaway just bite the bullet. Speaking of which, guys!
Petrify back up and a punish. Great stuff from Iran. Exactly the same thing we saw from game 1. Now, no Petrify. There is the Black Dragon from Lokesa. Very early appraise of Raph. But Enders goes to work and the rest of his team is here. They've got to figure out. Great wall. Momo down. Iran with the first turtle of game 2.
Something that we can say for sure is that Iran knows how to do first turtle.
Yes.
Right now we just got to see the continuation, and Lolio got a 1v1 against Philip here. It looks like Stormy was able to save the purple buff by taking it for himself. Sakai's kind of a bad start here for Hayabusa, and looks like Iran is going to make sure that it gets worse.
Let's see, Kesa able to get the golem, and Runaway doing a fantastic job at keeping Yums at bay. Now they got to maybe try and help Fulip up in the bottom lane, kind of free him from the pressure. Just a couple of bad trades early on in the early game that allow Dolia to get the kill. Not to mention that Fulip is running a Purify, so escaping the Death Sonata from Ranger is not the easiest thing to do.
Oh, look at this. Sakai goes in. He actually gets the purple buff. So looks like, hey, you know what? My farm is A-okay. And I would say he's not that punished so far because, again, going up against Frederick, not the fastest of farmers, so not that bad.
And they know he used Furious Dive, and that's what we talked about, right? Tracking the abilities of your opponents, a freebie delivered to Momo in the XP lane, and that frees it up for Malaysia as well. And definitely feeling the sting a little bit. Although I do like to tip for tat that both junglers are throwing at each other, despite this being a tank against an assassin matchup, but Kesa still not really backing down. Fulip also in a 1v1 against Oliel, but backup is nearby. Fulip needs to back off. Stormy doesn't land a root. Let's force the Purify out.
Yep. So still win-win. Unable to hit the... oh, but look at that. Kesa gets taken on. The Black Dragon form has been used quite early here.
Petrify, Shard Residue, bleed out, flicker forward. Great stuff from Runaway. And a Feather Airstrike follow-up gives Ender a double.
Yeah, and now Stormy wants to chase after Ender, still going for Yumes.
Yumes gets the knockout with Kundo, and Stormy will find the finisher. Lucian's waiting on the cooldown, but in powered auto attacks do not care about bodies. The knockback into the wall a bit too late, and Stormy finds himself a two-piece.
Stormy is looking straight at Sakai. Is like, I got you, bro. You know what? Just have a snack.
Yep. But in return, Iran should be able to get this turtle. Kesa on the case, Appraisal Crash Slam down with the Retribution. Yumes able to find the kick onto Runaway, but finds it onto Kesa. The wall not in the best spot. No Appraisal Grab. Kesa melted. And Momo with the chop.
Pretty sure in that situation, Kesa's like, bruh.
Maybe should have kept the Appraisal Scrap, I felt.
Hey, I do agree. So I feel like for both teams, I think they're pretty hype at this moment. They need to calm down just a little bit and be like, okay, chill. We got good plays, and there's 3-2-1, looking good. Iran's got 2 turtles. Malaysia, a few kills onto Stormy. Now let's all get back into a good headspace and figure out what to do in the next turtle.
We can kill Stormy. Petrify. Boom, Stormy's dead. Should have seen that coming from a mile away. The Purify not enough. So guys into the Shadow kill. Yumes is here, but Shadow kill not enough. Good backup from Lucian, and Yumes also can't follow up.
I gotta say, Enders is probably not too happy what happened in game number 1, and he's letting his feelings known here in game number 2. And, you know, folks, MLBB is a good replacement in case you need therapy, you know? Deal with your issues in-game.
You find it. Oh, that looked pretty dangerous. Yumes might have cost the Sakai, or could have, but Sakai to the quad battle doesn't really connect, so Enders, he's safe here. Yumes, it's a bit of a fancy footwork that Enders ends up going down.
Not gonna lie, I was pretty scared for Sakai at that moment. Essentially giving a free flicker over to Enders.
Yeah. If he had Petrify, I think that was lights out for Sakai.
Yeah.
Again, they were tracking it pretty well every 90 seconds, so 1.5 minute window is pretty long in a game of Mobile Legends.
So now we can see Loliel does have the Sky Piercer and now the Hunter Strike as well. Yumes is distracting the team of Iran, but now we got to look at the turtle here. Ender still does not have the Black Dragon form. If Iran can wait it out, they have a good shot of actually winning a team fight. And you know, just a suggestion: kill Stormy, and then you're looking pretty good.
I think they also sort of saw the possibility of what they could do with the Grok. Right? Like Runaway has just one nasty flicker, tectonic charge. Let's see. So far, 2 out of 2 turtles for Iran. Black Dragon form is out onto Enders. Fulip. Jump onto Momo, so guys looking for a way in. That's 3 out of 3 turtles for Iran. Kesa with the secure. And a kill for Fulip. Great disengage from Malaysia, but Iran wins that fight.
A little bit too early coming in from Sakai, and we saw Runaway was prepared in case if he stands around, he used the tectonic charge. Unable to get him, but still a good attempt. Iran definitely much better compared to game number 2, looking more composed. At the same time, quite aggressive.
Looking for Enders again, trying to slow him down. Yumes, kick, but great Furious dive. Enders finds his way out. Kesa is here, but they don't really have the damage to finish off Yumes. Not too big of a deal. We see the transition to the bottom lane. Fulip can't get Sakai. And Runaway forced to run away.
Yeah, unsure what happened there, but it looked pretty close. And then able to build up a wall, making sure that Momo doesn't get the chase. Looking at mid here, looks like Yumes as well as Stormy trying to apply as much pressure as they can. But Lucian is making sure that no funny business is there. Speaking of which, haven't seen a lot of impact from the Farsa just yet.
We've seen some feather airstrikes here and there, but nothing that has landed Lucian kills, 2 assists at most. It's been a zoning out so far because most of these fights sort of ended when the feather airstrike is thrown out. But compared to game 1, this is definitely, I think, a more manageable one. Even though Iran is 2k behind and they are desperately in need of structures too. Both side lane tier 1s have gone down.
Yep. The Lord is going to spawn in around 30 seconds here. So for Iran, they have shown able to get all 3 turtles. So they should have a bigger advantage in this neutrals. But Malaysia does have that gold advantage, which should give them at least one person an item advantage, and I'm guessing that is going to be Stormy, because I haven't seen Lolio build the third item just yet. Stormy is the big game changer here for Malaysia, so you just got to protect him. The moment he dies, that's probably a bad situation unless Lolio can get a triple kill. Then, hey, maybe things can be different.
The battle spells are up for most members of Iran. Except for Runaway, 30 seconds until his flicker. Gonna try and deal with the mid wave, and Iran has priority over the Lord too. Frederick, not a problem. Yus finds the key. Oh, a tectonic charge response. Runaway not able to save his team though. Sadly, Ender still ends up going down, and that's a double kill for Sakai's killing spree for Lo Liao. You did see the effort from Runaway, but unfortunately Malaysia played that better. 4 bodies.
Dude, that was, again, like you said, a good re-engage coming in from Iran, but Sakai's was able to use the Ogi shadow kill in time to dodge a lot of the damage as well as the crowd control, able to deal the damage. And I feel like even Iran, they were surprised. They're like, haven't we controlled this Hayabusa? Why is it doing that much damage?
Ender didn't even get to use the Black Dragon form, I think. Petrify also didn't do much. And by the way, that was an entire team fight underneath the mid-tier 1. And Malaysia got out with 0 casualties, 4 kills, and a Lord to boot. The exact same timing as game number 1. And now they're going to try to run away with the game if they can. They did end game 1 with the very first Lord itself. I don't think that will be the case for game 2, but they definitely have pulled ahead.
Something Iran has to keep track is the Sky Piercer stack, because Loliel has at least 2 here, or 20 stacks, because he got a double kill in mid just now. Asa finds Fumes, but look at that, Stormy is doing way too much damage here, Husky.
Ender did get the Queen's Wings. It's going to help him in these very spontaneous team fights that felt like it ended too fast. The Tectonic, the Earthen Rampart actually delayed the Lord charge a little bit, the Lord marching a little bit.
I know you can delay, I didn't know he would turn back.
Scared to run away. I'd be scared if I had
hey, you know what? Fair.
standing in front of me.
Chad, have you guys seen Lord do a U-turn? I've seen him go through the jungle, yes. I've never seen him do a U-turn before. Now this is a WEC 25 special here.
Look, it's the map is broken walls. The Lord is like, oh, broken wall shouldn't be a problem, and the wall shows up. Okay, he feels confused. Black Dragon form. Yums is the target, but not easy to kill. They try and blow him up. Yums flickers to escape. Now Momo comes in, drops the axe onto Fulham. He purifies out of it. Sakai doesn't get the roll. Fulham should be able to get out of it. But Lo Liao finds the execution, and Sakai will claim Lucian instead. Fulham ends up going down regardless, and Sakai stuck the shadow onto him somehow off screen. And Malaysia now looks to run it down. Lo Liao pressuring a runaway right in front of his fountain as both top and mid inhibitor go down. One final push, a shadow, a kick, a knockout, and this is game over. Malaysia will find that clean team wipe and get themselves the first 2-0 in this opening best of 3 against Team Iran.
Well, we did say that game number 1, they ended in 30 minutes. You said that was not going to happen.